Bring the whole family together for a warm, delicious meal this holiday season. Strachan Van Til has everything you'll need to satisfy their cravings. Just in time for Thanksgiving, we are carrying an incredible variety of fresh, frozen, organic, and even locally farmed whole turkeys that will truly make your mouth water. With meat so tender and juicy, this will be a meal they won't forget. Life made simple, meals made easy. It's a Strachan Van Til thing.
If you work with industrial, pneumatics, or hydraulics, and you're in need of maintenance or repair, you need the right connection. For over 20 years, Hose Connections in Hammond has been the premier leader in the hydraulics industry. Hose Connections is a one-stop shop for sales and service of pneumatics and hydraulics. Hose Connections continues to grow their network of industry contacts, which allows them to meet even your toughest expectations. To learn more, visit HoseConnectionsInc.com. Hose Connections in Hammond. Proven under pressure.
Welcome in, everybody, to the Centier Bank Studio. This is the Hose Connections Halftime Report. Michael Brenner here, along with the coach, Doug Nelson. Coach, I don't know if we've ever done a studio show together.
We have not.
This is new territory for us.
No, we've been in the press box and in parks and everywhere else, but not yet in the studio.
And everyone in the studio is now realizing why you shouldn't put us together.
Yes, it's going to be a long evening for Mr. Justin.
Mr. Justin Cole back working the dials behind us. All right, we are 2 weeks into sectionals now. Some teams are still getting their first taste of sectional play because they had a bye last week, just because of the numbers when it comes to 6A and other teams. And right off the bat, I mean, we're seeing some close games, but at the same time seeing some blowouts as well. One of those blowouts as we start with Class 1A. This is sectional number 41, the number one offensive team in the state. The North Judson Blue Jays up 52-0 on the Culver Cavaliers.
Yeah, I saw them firsthand when they played. They visited South Central and came in and beat the Satellites pretty good. But I said about a month ago, buy stock in them now. And if you're a Judson fan, buy your tickets now and your reservations, because you're going to be making that trip down 65.
Well, they're happy that this week isn't the weekend for the state championships in Indianapolis. They got a little more going on in Indy this weekend than state championships. Continuing on, the winner of that game, which is looking like it's going to be North Judson right now, barring a miracle, they will take on the winner of LaVille and North Newton, and LaVille is all over the Spartans 21-0.
Correct. Again, I don't know how either of these teams or any team in the North in 1A has a chance against North Judson. They're that good, Mike. They're big, they're huge, they're fast, they're well coached. It's hard.
Yeah, North Judson 54 points a game coming into this one today, and they're right at that average mark, just a couple of ticks below that. Moving over to sectional number 2, you've got Class 2, sectional number 33, and you've got Rensselaer Central taking on the Bremen Lions, and the Lions are up on the Rockets 28-7.
Yeah, Rensselaer's having a down year. And Bremen has had a nice year, being 6-4, and they've had a nice year in their conference. So, again, I thought it'd be close, and Rensselaer might keep it close, but Bremen's doing a good job of you kind of separate the cream rises to the top this time of the year, doesn't it?
Absolutely. So looking to go 7-4 and fighting for a sectional championship next week. They will take on the winner of either Andrean or Wheeler, which you are listening to right here on the Region Sports Network. Number 3 in our Enigenberg Home Improvement Top 10. Number 3, Andran taking on number 4, Wheeler, and right now it is all Andran. At last update, they are at the half, and it's 19-0 there. A little bit of a surprise. Wheeler's a team that definitely one of the top offensive teams in the area. Every time I look over at their score, they seem to just be winning in big numbers.
Yeah, we covered them last week when they played Boone Grove, and they struggled last week offensively. Klimzak was all over the place, had 2 or 3 picks. Again, Ortiz had a good game on the ground, but if you're Andrean and you can key on Ortiz and say, here, Klimzak beat us, then that's going to be a long night for Wheeler. And Andrean had that beefed up non-conference schedule to get them ready for this run, and I think they're going to have a nice lengthy run here toward Thanksgiving weekend football.
Well, we talk a lot of times about legendary coaches in Northwest Indiana, and we talk about coaches that are doing really well at this current time as well. I think one guy that does kind of get underappreciated and a little under the radar is Chris Skinner.
Yeah.
He always seems to have his teams in a position to win. Doesn't always get the win sometimes, but always seems to have them in that position where they're either leading big or they have them where it just feels like they're always in a game, and it just kind of feels like I feel like he doesn't get the credit he deserves all the time.
Yeah, and he does a good job. He does a good job of getting guys ready and healthy and playing well at this time of the year. But he's got some talent on the field too, with James Finley, Brady Ellish, and Benjamin Novak, who's a commit to University of Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
So when you have that at the 2A level, you're going to have a good chance to make that run.
All right, moving over to Class 3A sectional number 25. One of my favorite schools in the state of Indiana, the Jimtown Jimmies. Who doesn't love a good Jimtown Jimmy? They are up 26-21 over Mishawaka Marion right now.
Yeah, again, anytime Jimtown is one of those small towns that really take pride in what they're doing.
Absolutely.
And they're doing it, and they're on paper they're the favorite to win the sectional, which they're not decided on paper. I'm sure Knox and Griffith has something to say about that, but they're staking their claim for that sectional championship spot.
Well, they will face either Griffith or Knox. We have Griffith number 7 in our RSN Top 10 poll, brought to you by Enigenberg Exteriors, the home improvement Top 10. Although Knox is up 28-14, we kind of every time we look over at our monitor over here, the score seems to change. It's just like returns or something. Because now it's all of a sudden 34-14. As we look when we went on the air, it was like 28-14.
It's like video games.
I know it's crazy. So now it's 34-14. So a little late breaking news there.
Well, Knox has got Miles McLaughlin. He's a junior quarterback. He's rushed for over 2,000 yards. The leading scorer in the state of Indiana. And they've also got a guy, a senior, Jake Conroy. He's got over 1,300 yards entering the game. So Coach Radke, that. He likes to run the football.
Absolutely.
And they're going to continue to do that. And again, we've mentioned it all the time, Mike. I think that's how you make your run. We like to pass. The game's evolved, through put the ball in the air. But at the end of the day, you've got to be able to run the football.
A little ground and pound action. We talk about legendary coaches. You got two guys that are well established here in the state of Indiana. Coach Phil Mason with the Panthers, and then Coach Radke with the Redskins. So, two legendary coaches really going at it. Griffith, one of the top teams in Class 3A, number 12 in the state when you look at some of the polls. So this is going to be a big win for Knox if they can move on.
And Griffith had a great year this year.
Oh, no question.
We hope they maybe can come back and come back and get Knox. But Coach Mason's done an amazing job. Griffith's one of those shockers of the year in the region football. In my opinion,
when we started the year, definitely there were some people that were saying like this team is loaded. Like you said, buy stock in another team did buy stock in that Griffith team. We had people on in our comments early on in the season, kind of in our preview shows, saying this is a loaded Griffith team. You better beware. And well, they were right.
Yeah, and
no question.
And he's the right coach at the right time, and the guys are buying in. And they came in with this number 7 offense in Indiana, scoring 44 points a game. But Knox is a worthy challenger, and it's going to be an interesting second half.
No question. Moving over to Class 4A, sectional number 17, the Hanover Central Wildcats up 35-7 over Kankakee Valley. This Lake Show is just such an impressive display. Coach Parker doing a phenomenal job yet again. It's just going to be one of those questions of, they had that defeat earlier in the year against Andrean, but can this team use that as motivation to get them farther and farther into the tournament? That just kind of seems to be the hiccup every single year. The farther you go, the better the teams are going to be. So that's where, Hanover's got to kind of put it to the pedal to the metal. Yeah,
that 3-0 loss they had to Andrean maybe was a little eye opener.
That's what I was.
Coach, it got the kids' attention. Maybe brings them down a little bit, and
humble them a little bit.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that.
No, absolutely not. That can be great motivation for any team. A game that you're watching right here on the Region Sports Network. They're starting up in the third quarter here in just a moment. You've got the Hobart Brickies coming in at number 10 in our Enigenberg Exteriors Home Improvement Top 10, and they are taking on the New Parade Cougars. A lot of history in this rivalry, especially at this time of the year. 7-7 right now as we get ready to start the third quarter.
Yeah, again, this is one of those games we had circled. It was going to be a barn burner, and it's going to come down to doing little things right. And I kind of thought Hobart, with the home field advantage, might have a little bit of an advantage for this one, but it's going to be an interesting second half.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. We'll have it right here on our RSN Zone display that we've got set up over here to my right. Let's move over to Class 5A, sectional number 10. All-tied matchup, a little DAC matchup between the Michigan City Wolves and the Chesterton Trojans, all knotted up at 14 right now.
Again, these are two teams that have been really just couldn't get over the hump all year. The records are kind of deceiving. Michigan City coming in at 3-6 and Chesterton at 5-4. But they're close losses.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody got whipped pretty good by Crown Point, but everybody else just kind of beat each other up in the dueling this year. And these are two teams that are, that could be quietly get ready to make a championship run in next weekend. But, I think both teams have some playmakers, which I think you need at this time of the year.
Without
we said, the dudes show up at this time of the year. So, again, that's another one that's going to go right down to the wire.
All right, moving on. Also, sectional number 10, you've got LaPorte Slicers taking on the Valparaiso Vikings. At last update, Valparaiso up 14-0 on LaPorte. Valparaiso, we have them as number 6 in our home improvement top 10. This is a team that I wasn't able to figure out all season long. It's a good team. It has great offense. It's got great coaching, great players all over the place. And then just sometimes there's just these little things that happen in the game, and you're like, wait, what happened to this Valpo team all season long? I had them quite a few times this year, and they were exciting. I mean, they're a fun team, and Coach Marshall, one of the best in the area. It's just that team just couldn't figure it out. They just couldn't get that identity, what it felt like all year. And obviously there's an injury or two here and there, but
sure.
Man, oh man, it just that team could be an under-the-radar team. It's not a team I would want to face deep in the postseason.
Again, you look down and you think, man, they're having a rough season, and they're 6-3.
Right, right.
They've just done. It's just sometimes it looks like they can't get it out of their own way.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They've got the talent. They've got Tommy Berta. They've got Stokes, as a receiver, and their defense has given up more points than they have in a while.
Yeah,
last few years. But
maybe that's why it just feels a little different for this team.
It just feels like that they could rely on the defense a little bit, but now. They're ready to make that run. They're a legit contender to win this sectional 10.
Moving over to class, we're still in class 5A. We're going to sectional number 9. We don't have a score between the Morton Governors and the Munster Mustangs, so if you have that one, please feel free to send that one in. Then they will face the winner of the Maryville-Hammond Central game, and at last update, I believe it was for the number 2 Maryville Pirates, 48-0, I believe was the last score update we had on that one. And you had an interesting note about the Maryville Pirates coming into this game today.
Yeah, in our homework this week, and looking on some stats and some numbers, Maryville was for the region, for 219 area here, they were the team with the highest percentage of the chance to go to Indian win.
To Indianapolis,
and they've gotten healthy. Their coaching staff does an amazing job. Again, they've been right in that cusp, to get to the regional level, they get to the semi-state level, and they're trying to get over that hump and make it all the way down to Indy, and I think they have every chance to do that.
All right, just a couple more here on the Host Connections halftime report. Host Connections, by the way, they are proven under pressure. Doom, 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 doom,
there it
doom.
is.
I know. See, the best part is you get to watch the reaction to my broadcast partners now.
8:18, Michael.
Normally it's a nice eye roll and a little punch to the side, but
kidney shot here.
Can't do that on the air, I guess.
Just wait for the commercial.
We're gonna stay rolling for a while. All right, moving over to Class 6A, sectional number 1. I don't think this comes as a surprise to anybody, but the number 14 this may be a little bit of a shocker, but the number 14 team offensively in the state of Indiana, the Crown Point Bulldogs. I would think that they would have been a little bit higher, but 43 points a game coming into this week. Up 14-0 on the Portage Indians. That doesn't surprise anyone that they are winning a ball game because they are undefeated coming into tonight. So they're looking for the 10-0 start here in 2024, but I was a little surprised to see that they were ranked 14th in terms of offense in the entire state.
Well, their starters are only playing a half.
That's a good point.
They're only playing a half. I mean, their guys are putting up ridiculous numbers. If you would somehow come up with the equivalent to 4 quarters of the points they were putting up, they're developing talent. Coach Bazzi and his staff, they're staying healthy. They don't want guys hurt, so they're playing a half, and they're getting guys ready for down the road. And that's what they do, and the equation's working so far.
Yep, absolutely. All right, let's take a look at the last one, the number 12 team in Class 6A. You've got the Penn Kingsmen taking on Lake Central, and they are all over the Indians right now, 28-0. A lot of people maybe thought Lake Central might have a little bit of a better season. I thought overall, I don't think it was a terrible season coming in with a new coach for the first time this year. I think people maybe expected just a little bit more, a couple of victories, and they had some close ones that were losses, but I do feel like this program is in the right direction.
Well, I think it's just a testament to how deep the Duneland is.
Oh, no question.
You know, Lake Central had a solid year. Again, they're much just like Chesterton and Michigan City, where a possession here, a possession there. It's a 6-3 record rather than 3-6. You know, but I really kind of thought this game might be closer. You know, we had Penn earlier in the year a little bit while we watched them, covered them a little bit, and I thought that Lake Central might give them a little bit of a run. But again, Penn gets things going this time of the year.
Yeah, they had that first win of the season against the Valparaiso Vikings. I know when I talked to Coach Marshall about that game, one of the things he was happy that it was a close game. It was a one-score game, and it was a shootout. It was a shootout. It was in the upper 40s in terms of that score. So Penn always a team that is up there and always rearing it to go. They are looking for their 8th win of the season. So that'll wrap up the scores here for this halftime report brought to you by Hose Connections. Again, they are proven under pressure.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yes, I've gotten, the last 2 times I've worked.
I had to. You put me on the spot.
Peer pressure is a wonderful thing at times. All right, so that'll wrap up the scores here at the Centier Bank studio. We appreciate it. We'll have more coming up in the fourth quarter. We will have a fourth quarter RSN zone, so you can listen to Doug and I kind of give our thoughts and opinions on games going on. We've got, it looks like we have cameras. We got a camera,
over at Wheeler.
Look out. Camera is there, so you can tune into that one for the next 12-plus minutes before you get to listen to the dulcet tones of Doug Nelson and myself. So, thanks for tuning in. This is the Host Connection Halftime Report from the Centier Bank Studio on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
If you work with industrial, pneumatics, or hydraulics, and you're in need of maintenance or repair, you need the right connection. For over 20 years, Hose Connections in Hammond has been the premier leader in the hydraulics industry. Hose Connections is a one-stop shop for sales and service of pneumatics and hydraulics. Hose Connections continues to grow their network of industry contacts, which allows them to meet even your toughest expectations. To learn more, visit HoseConnectionsInc.com. Hose Connections in Hammond. Proven under pressure.
Attention Strack and Van Til reward members. From October 16th to November 19th, spend $400 and you'll earn yourself a free turkey. That's right, a free honeysuckle turkey, between 10 to 14 pounds. Get ready to gobble up some savings this Thanksgiving season. Keep tabs on your performance in your rewards account. 2 offers per account, so make it count. Don't miss out on this turkey-tastic deal at Strack and Van Til.